Hey everybody. Happy Monday before the day before holiday. So hopefully you have a day off. Some of us federal workers and federal contractors have been off for a while. So it looks like there are some movements back towards getting folks back to work, getting those SNAP benefits paid. So hopefully everybody is sustaining themselves in the meantime. All right. Today, special episode because it was by request. I'm calling it Why We Broke. Why are we broke as a people, and sometimes even just as general folks living in this country? I'll tell you why. There are two sets of reasons. First reason, a lack of skills, qualifications, ambition, right? So there are people who can only work in retail or other areas because they have not honed in on a skill or niche that can produce a decent income, right? So that's something that we want to make sure that us, our family, our friends, that we keep growing and developing our skills, whether it's through a university, a trade school, a certification program, a training program, or just starting at something and moving up. We have to be able to pour into ourselves so that we are marketable and able to secure jobs that pay more than a minimum wage. If we are earning minimum wage, we're not going to be able to save, invest, all of that, unless we're living at home. But if you're 40 and living at home but not helping out, that's not great either. Right? So just keep in mind, grow your skills, whether it's a certification, a class, being a hard worker and ambitious in your current career. Because even at retail, you can work your way up to be the store manager, district manager, etc. Um, so just keep in mind at a certain point, we're going to have to work hard and move up in our chosen professions or find a new profession where we can move up. Or be willing to work extra hours um, to be able to build. Now, here's the main people I want to talk to. Those of us who are gainfully employed, making significantly more than minimum wage. Doesn't have to be six figures, but we're talking people in the $60,000 and up range. Why we broke? All right, and believe me, 60,000 isn't the only folks that's broke. I've seen people making 300,000 that are broke. So the question is, why are we broke when we make enough to live on? It's because we are not living below our means. In fact, we're living above our means. If we don't make enough to save for the future, invest money for retirement, save for emergencies, get rid of the credit cards, we do not make enough to buy a luxury car. So the only way we should be pushing the Lex, the Acura, the Audi, the Benz, is if we can pay that off in cash. Or if we have enough resources that, oh yeah, I'll pay it off in 6 months and I'm investing a grip. If you're not investing a significant portion, some financial experts recommend 15% all the way up to 25%. I am team 25% as a goal, just because that's really going to give you the lifestyle that you want in retirement. But 15 ain't going to do bad either. All right. So if we don't have our debts paid off, other than mortgage, that's a whole different category of debt. But if we're not paying our debts off, we cannot afford that luxury car. We can't afford that bag. And let me tell you, I like to sometimes look. If you are a person that browses but doesn't buy, and you're not gonna buy, that's okay. But if it's gonna tempt you to buy, you might not want to be on Amazon every day, or you might not want to be looking through stuff. But I saw this $70,000 bag. It was cute, but I got bags in my closet that are just as cute as cuter, or cuter, that were like $100 or less, right? Why are we trying to keep up with something that really ain't it? If you are buying a vehicle that costs you $60,000, think about what $60,000 could actually do. That could be a great down payment on a home, a great home, with money left over for your emergency fund. That could be an investment that grows over time. Like I said, if you put in money, it's going to double every so many years, depending, like I told you before, if you're making 8% on your investment, which is modest, very achievable, it's doubling in 9 years. So 9 years, 120,000. Another 9 years, 240,000, etc. So you cannot afford these items. In fact, Ross is here for us. We can find nice clothes in Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington Coat Factory. Well, I think they took the Coat Factory part off. I'm old. But Burlington, we can find nice things. A lot of people swear by Shein. Hey, they got some nice stuff too if you're willing to take a little risk. Because sometimes you get it and you're like, oh, this is great. And other times, not so great. But you can return it. Point being, buy things that are affordable for you. And if you can't afford it while still investing 15 to 25% of your income for the future, for retirement, don't do it. All you need is enough clothes to get you from work, home, and whatever little activities you got on the weekend. Same thing with our vacations. And let me tell you, I love vacations. I usually take about 3 nice vacations per year, but I can afford it because I save for them. If you're putting a vacation on a credit card, you are doing it wrong. Now, that's not to say you can't use the credit card just for convenience and pay it off in full. I'm saying if you don't have the money to pay for this vacation in cash, don't go. And that's to say, your emergency fund is not for a vacation, a purse. Your emergency fund is for, let me give you 2 seconds to guess, emergencies. So it has to be a true emergency, a layoff. The government shutdown was a great reason to potentially tap into your emergency fund to pay for your living expenses. Put it back when you get your back pay, people. The any layoff, your car breaks down. Okay, you need the car to get to work, to grocery shop or whatever. Fine. Now let me ask you, is it an emergency when your best friend calls you and says, girl, we got to hit Miami Beach this weekend? No, that's not an emergency. So don't touch your savings unless it's absolutely necessary. A last minute family funeral out of town may be an emergency. But your wants are not emergencies. Something you wanted goes on sale, still not emergency. So let's prioritize saving and building for our futures rather than driving around our cars, all our wealth is in the car, 10 years from now, you won't even have that car. But if you're me, you will, because I hold on to my cars as long as possible. So one of the cars we have is a 2013. But point being, when you buy a house, it'll still be there for you. You put investments aside, it'll still be there for you. Because the rule of investing is that once you get to a point that you are financially free, you draw approximately 4% of your portfolio, leave the rest where it is in a mix of stocks and bonds. And that portfolio is able to keep its value or even grow some. So whatever you end it with, you still have when you get to the point of passing away, and you could pass that away to your children, your nieces and nephews, your younger spouse, or whoever you would like to leave the money to. But your car be gone. That bag probably won't even be in style. The clothes, you either gonna gain or lose like most of us do. So you spend all your paycheck on one nice outfit, chances are in 5 years you might not be able to fit it one way or the other. Or something's gonna happen to it. Get a stain you can't get out. Whatever. So let's do this. Let's look at our budgets. Put down how much we need to spend on actual expenses, real expenses, not our wants. Write it down, see what's left, and prioritize saving or investing 15 to 25% of your income. And if you don't have enough to do the 15, do something. Do 5%. Get enough to get your employer match. And then maybe just grow it through time. But if we spending all our money on luxury cars, vacations, impressing people that don't even care because they might be broke too, it ain't where it's at. So our money should go to our needs first, investing, savings second, and then when we got money left over, we can spend it knowing that we've done what we needed to do to pay our bills and save for retirement. So when we retire, we don't have to fall down on not being able to do the vacation we wanted to go on. Now we got all this time and we like, dang, I can't even afford to go to IHOP. I love IHOP, by the way. I think it's a very nice kind of inexpensive outing. That's a whole nother story. Don't be the person that when you retire, you have to ask your kids, your friends, whoever for money, or your friends are leaving you behind because you don't have enough. And so here's the last thing I'll say. My father told me that renting is throwing your money away. That may or may not be the case depending on your circumstances, because if you're renting, you're paying for being able to move whenever, right? So I own my home, but if I needed to move to another area, now I have to decide, am I going to sell it? Am I going to hire a property manager to oversee renting it out? I can't just pick up and move. Something has to happen with this house, right? So if I knew I was going to move in 2 years, I would rent and not buy a house. If I knew I didn't have enough money to upkeep my house, because trust me, I may not have children, but having a house is almost like having a child. Because all of a sudden, you're like, why is it water on the floor coming from the ceiling? Or all of a sudden, you're like, is it cold in here? Oh, I think the heat went out. Or it's hot. Or, where did all this water come from? Oh, the hot water heater bursted. Trust me, there are expenses involved. So if you can't afford to pay those expenses because you don't have any money saved, home ownership may not be for you yet. But if you're in a good financial position and all of that, and you're able and wanting to buy a home, it's a great investment. Some people say it's not an investment because you're going to be using it to live in. But eventually you're going to pay it off and then your housing costs drop very low. So I say this: if you're renting but you have a Lexus truck in the driveway, I say Lexus because that's my favorite car. If you're renting and you have a Lexus truck in the driveway of your rental, do that make sense? You could have put that money into being a homeowner and saving for your future. So, in conclusion, let's stop buying the luxuries. Let's start focusing on necessities first, and then next, we'll go over to the um, things that the investments, the savings, and then the things that we want. I want you to have things that you want. I'm about to plan another vacation myself. But I got money going into my TSP, which is a 401k in the government. I have money going into my brokerage accounts. And I've fully funded my Roth IRA. So the question is, are you willing to give up some of these luxuries so that you can retire with dignity? All right. Talk to you soon. Let me know if you have questions in the chat, in the comments.